Hey gang, DVD collector back in the movie room. Hey gang, and welcome back to 2010, where apparently I was really tired. So, yeah, I just got done working a 16-hour shift, and I'm tired as hell, so I thought, you know what, I'm doing this shit in bed. Speaking of shit, as you can probably see, this is Gannon's pink shit pillow. It's the Shitamobius, or Mocon is so cool. It's probably my most used one. But anyway, let's get into this real quick before we get off track and things like that. 2010, not a terrible year for film. Not one of the best. It does have a couple really strong films in it. So let's get started with this. Once again, in no order. I don't even think there's one that sticks. Actually, yeah, I'll have one that does stick out. Ben Affleck in The Town. I believe it's directed by him as well. A really good heist movie. There's not a lot of heist films out anymore, so it's kind of fresh when you do see one. All the Boston accents were kind of cool in there too, and just the way they were interacted with each other. That whole arguing back and forth during the heist is good banter, so it makes for a good film. The next one is the 2010 Wolfman. They had me, man. Benicio del Toro, he had me. You could see the pain in his eyes. You could feel the emotion running through him and how sad he was and how, overcome with all this thing. And then they go and fuck it all up with that Teen Wolf ending where his dad's a wolf and shit. Which I try not to think about that too much. I did buy this. I didn't buy this originally. I bought it on Blu-ray later. Maybe at a pawn shop even. And I watched it and I really enjoyed it a lot more the second time. I focused more on him and his turmoil and stuff like that. And just gave in to the ending and things like that. So really, really strong Wolfman story. Next is a remake, Let Me In. It's a remake of the film that came out, hell, not too far in front of it, maybe 2 or 3 years, 4 years, but titled Let the Right One In, which is fucking phenomenal. This one goes through the same story. The story is about a vampire and a young boy, and it's technically it's about love and finding a way to carry on with life as a vampire. Doing what you need to do to survive. Really good story. It's got that Chloe chick that I can't ever think of her name, that I'm not a big fan of, the one that was in Carrie. So, not a really big fan of hers, but this film she does a really good job. There's another one on this list that she does a really good job into, I believe. Yep, it's coming up too. Next, though, on the list is Insidious. This is another film with The Conjuring and all those that are done very well as far as modern horror films go. And if you haven't seen Insidious, I highly recommend it and the second one. The second one's really good. And past that, but the first and second Insidious films are really worth a watch for somebody that maybe isn't a huge horror fan, or even somebody that is a horror fan that maybe has not seen these. That's not their type of horror. They don't like the jump scares or whatever, but it's well worth a watch. The next one is also has the Chloe girl in it, and that's Kick-Ass. Really surprised by this film because the comic book I absolutely hated. I cannot get by John Romita Jr.'s art, which that means nothing to the film community, but there are certain people that will know what I'm talking about. I just cannot get into a story when he's the artist. Pretty sure he wrote this too, but the story, as far as the movie goes, I'm sure is the same. But man, it was such a fun ride. The second one too. Um, the second one has a kind of guest appearance, but I mean it's a little longer than a guest appearance with Jim Carrey. That I really liked his character in it, and I'm not a big Jim Carrey fan. But yeah, she plays Hit Girl in this, and Kick-Ass is the main character, and it's definitely worth the watch. And that's my barky ass Chihuahua right there that you can hear. Her name is Mookie. She's named after a Fraggle. She wouldn't expect anything less. Next, Book of Eli. A phenomenal end of the world Denzel Washington film. This one has a funny story. My wife Robin, at the end of the movie, still didn't catch on that he was blind. But maybe some other people didn't either. The Fighter. I believe it's Aronofsky. If that's how you say his name. Great film. Christian Bale knocks this out of the park. I mean, Mark Wahlberg does a great job too, but man, Christian Bale sells this shit. I mean, he really does. As a former boxer turned crackhead, he has really did himself in this one. Next, the remake of True Grit. Jeff Bridges gets a lot of flack nowadays since he can't talk right. I don't know what happened to him. If he had a stroke or if he just woke up one morning and forgot how to fucking talk. I don't know, but this Jeff Bridges, he doesn't really bother me. I could care less. I think he did a great job in John Wayne's character. There's so much good stuff in this film. I'm not going to take away from John Wayne's True Grit because it's an equally amazing film. I'm not a huge John Wayne fan, but it's probably my favorite John Wayne film next to The Shootist. I love The Shootist. Such a great film. But yeah, this version of True Grit, top notch. Really good modern Western. Let's see here. Toy Story 3. Toy Story, the three films together are such an amazing product by Pixar. The first film is just classic. It's just, you're not going to beat it. It's just super classic. The second one for me was kind of I'm not going to say a letdown, but it was not up to par with the first one, which it's a sequel. We expect that. But I went into this thinking, give me some more Buzz and Woody and make this stuff funny, and I just wasn't a real fan. But Toy Story 3 was such an emotional roller coaster, from him giving his toys away to him making sure that they're taken care of. It was such a great ending, which isn't the ending because Toy Story 4 will be coming out. But I thought it was a good way, if they wanted to end it, they could end it. And then last on the list we have Winter's Bone. Probably, no, definitely one of the only films that I really enjoy Jennifer Lawrence in. This was an Oscar-worthy movie for her. I don't know why she wouldn't have got it for this, and and what did she get it for? Silver Linings Playbook, I think, or something. But this film is amazing. It's about, the area where I'm from, technically, and how when people get messed messed up with drugs and stuff like that. Not so much the addiction part of that, but the you owe them money, you might come up missing. So very very strong performance by her. She's a little bit younger. This is before Hunger Games and stuff like that, but she really pulls this film together, and that's it. That's 2010. That's my top 10 from 2010. And make sure you check Ian's out. His is already up. And I'll see you next week for 2009, which looks rough. Looks really rough. We might not get a full 10. So, till next time, guys, may the force be with you. And game over.